Greetings, everyone. Just moving the little thing closer. Hey, how's it going? We're going to do some goddess cards today, as I said in my couple videos a long time ago. Just offering different things. There's so many transitions going on, so thank you so much for tuning in and joining us. This is Joanna from Universal Love Light, Shamanic Tarot, Shamanic and Sacred Tone and Sound Healing, Universal Healing, Teach Learning Sessions, however we want to define it at any one moment. We're using all of our resources, we're using all of our gifts, we're allowing ourselves to flow in and out within all moments that we are Source Creator, and we thank you so much, the Divine and Heavenly Holy Creators of all that we are, moving in fluidic adventure of who we are, the Divine Goddess adventure that I'm so proud and I'm so happy to begin my own awakening and embodiment of the Divine and Holy Mother frequency, the Divine Alcyon sisters that are always with me. Thank you, Divine Inner and Outer Earth Shamans, as a part of my collective and that I walk with, and harmonizing with more of who I am as a soul and allowing it to come forward more and more every moment. I will be posting a video moving simple, basic movement using source fields and art, multidimensional Merkaba fields and art fields and all that we are as multidimensional beings, using it as beautiful higher alignment sound mantras, using our bodies and the bodies within all that we are, a part of Gaia, the Gaia fields, magnetic fields, source creator fields, knowing that all that we resonate within our vibration of all that we are, how we are affected by everything that we exist around. So remember, it's a multidimensional co-creative moment from own experience of exploring, experiencing, and expressing all that we are as divine multidimensional beings. And how it's really important for so many light workers have been talking about recently, it's really important to refine and purify all that we allow to affect our fields. So the company that we keep, foods, entertainment, what are we putting in our bodies? How is it all affecting our resonance? So be really aware. And why I've created these special Omni-Love programs and Omni-Love offerings, the teach learning offerings of the Law of One, so that there's constant access to the highest vibrational Christic programs of light, so that you can access those codes at any time, because each time that you access it, a new code will be offered based on where you're at in your intention, to open and allow yourself to flow with Source Creator. So today we're going to do the Shamanic Tarot with the Goddess reading, and we're going to talk a little bit about Divine Feminine, healing the Divine Feminine once again, with allowing the lineage and the akashic energies of what we move through in every day to be healed, and knowing that you have access to tune into what you're being triggered within as part of your Divine Feminine healing. Something that came up with me was threefold, really, because I'm a part of the collective for not only carrying the Divine Feminine embodiment to higher frequencies of co-creation. Every time that we clear and heal something from that Divine Feminine experience, through the lineage and through our soul's contract to release limitation of who we are as Divine Feminine beings. And those concepts are embedded within us and conformed within us at very early ages, right from pre-birth, because we take them on as soul contracts in that vibrational field, and honoring and clearing those fields, allowing those energies to be processed and released from the soul contract of all that you are, the imprint that energy carried. So I'll give you an example. Abuse, the experience of abuse and subjugation in any way, whether it's a mental abuse, an emotional abuse, physical abuse, or energetic abuse. So any of those aspects of anything that occurs are sending information to and from all that you are as a being, and they further imprint that we call that in, because there's that psyche wound that needs to be cleared. And so allowing your everyday experiences to be that pathway of healing, so that you're recognizing this is no longer okay in whatever way that it occurs, whether it's your own abuse of yourself, because they're honoring in what we reflect out as our vibration. I'm not enough, and therefore people suppress me and people press me down. that's just your own way of saying that I'm not expressing my full self. I'm not allowing myself to be fully who I am. I'm feeling as if I have to be conformed or codependent on someone, when it's not the case at all. They're just deep lineage programs that don't allow us to be that full sovereign divine being, each individually, in those co-creative partnerships. And they also are experienced at the aspects of children, especially those that carry great light and that come here and carry great light are often those that are abused, because those that they've come with have contracted, because of that great light that they carry, to clear and help clear their programs by being the one that is abused, so that they can clear those wounds that have been transmuted through those abuse experiences, because we carry that light to do so, and we carry that wisdom to do so. Some of us have gone through quite the challenging path, because not knowing these things at the earliest of ages and being counseled and, you know, understanding the multidimensional bodies and everything that we've been teaching, you know, often take a path of self-destruction, because we're not being taught these things at an early age. We're not being taught self-empowerment and self-love at the earliest of ages. And so those abuse patterns continue, because those core wounds have not been healed. About self-love and self-honor, that you are enough, you are a vast, important being. And some of my programs that I was here healing was the fullness and the adventure of self, you know, is having that rich self-love and that rich self-empowerment and that rich self-honor, that, you know, I'm in absolute control and management of my own vessel, and I get to choose how it's treated. I get to choose how I'm treated, and I get to choose to begin with me first. And so, but that's a paradigm, and it's taken me 51 years. But what's happened recently is that in that movement video with the mantras and the singing and the language that I did, and I'll post it after this video, because we're introducing that movement in this video, so that you're prepared that when you watch that video, that you watch it with the intro. After I did it, I had the release. So that movement video was active and helped release a very, very deep lineage wound about, you know, divine feminine abuses, about codependency and subjugation, and the controlling energies and experiences that many move through, and my lineage moves through, and healing those deep akashic wounds that are, in some way, when we're threaded with I'll give you an experience, and this is very let's see, I'm already clearing just talking about it, because I'm expressing the energies to release and to be cleared. When I was younger, there was a series of experiences that were related to the akashic healings that for those that I encircled, as well as the lineage and the akash, and many timelines that I'd experienced. Because remember, we played all roles, and so we're all healing it at a multidimensional level. There is never, ever one way of understanding a healing, because it's a multidimensional experience, that we are all one, you know, in a way. And so the trauma that was experienced when I was a child, that I had suppressed, then co-creating and calling in those energies that were of similar vibration to show me of the similar abuses of betrayal, abandonment, and so on, the various levels of various kinds of abuse in different ways. You know, we experience those types of energies in everyday experiences, you know, whether they're, you know, misdirected comments from people that we look up to, you know, and those that are supposed to care for us and love us and, you know, treat us in abusive ways, in a very, you know, dramatic and minor and major ways. You know, we're all coming from all of those backgrounds, and we're healing them all. And I had a dream the other night, and coming forward in it, there was 3 particular aspects of that psyche wound that was related to the divine feminine abuse. The divine feminine abuse that was also seen in my mirrored reflection of someone that was taking on their suppression for their divine feminine ideas and desires to be able to express who they were as a sensitive being, as a compassionate being, and having to conform to the ways that, humanity sees and programs and confines the male dynamic in being, very, very staunch and very aggressive, and gotta mess people around and bully and all that kind of stuff. Those are the things that, when you see people and how they behave, those are the ideas and the programs that they're brought up with. It's not okay to be sensitive. And I mean, we all those programs, it's not a blanketed statement. It's just that there's no other ways that we describe it. But when you see how people behave and you see how they're honoring and not honoring one another, there's programs that they're getting those ideas from. The aggression within the environment, the aggression within the entertainment, and all of those things affects your vibration. It just does. Everything is vibratory. So it's very important that we honor, and be more aware of. It's all valid, yes, but how are we each honoring and allowing those experiences of raising the standard, raising the bar, and awaken to what is okay and what's not okay. How are we going to honor one another and allow ourselves to all be sacred, so that each person is respected and valued, regardless of the body that they carry, that they are respected as divine beings of the essence of source, their source. And in that respecting mirrored reflection, allow everybody their capacity to be exactly who they are in all moments, so they're being a balanced being, and they're able to talk about their feelings. They're able to talk about what is okay for them, what's not okay, their boundaries, their set standards and expectations. And so I had seen those three reflections that had come to me after the release of that movement and chanting. And it allowed me to just, it was like a fanning. And that one release had said, it had, like this often happens with synchronicities and healing, when you're knowing that you're moving through a multidimensional reality, is that when you're seeing all of those pinpointing moments, and I've written about this in my books, my first book, when you're seeing all of those synchronistic experiences, say, this is really what you're healing. And it had to come through, you're in touch with your creative expression. You're allowing yourself to be expressive. You've allowed that space for those energies to come up and be released. And then when you sit in quiet reflection, which will offer you as that video introduction as soon as I finish explaining this, when you sit with that quiet reflection and say, what did that experience mean for me as I was connecting harmonically with the fields and with Gaia, with the heavens, then those energies come forward. It's like a fan. That's what you heal. And so they were, I just see it as pinpoints, bing, 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 bing. And they reminded me of the dream I had, the connection I had, the thought that I had. And those are that's your soul essence saying, this is what you're healing, this is what you're healing. You're going to connect with it, you're going to connect with it. It goes deeper, goes deeper, goes deeper, goes deeper. That's when that childhood memory came forward. That's when the repressed memory came forward. That's when the lineage memory came forward. That's when the experience of someone else having their experience, because they were showing me, they were saying, hey, you're ready to deal with this, but I'm dealing with it in my way. So how can we heal it all together? And then you do that clearing for it. Not that you're clearing it for them, part of it, yes, because they're showing you that mirror that they're not ready to see yet. But you can bring it forward in conversation and say, you still have the right to be honored and respected in the body that you have. You're still right to say that doesn't feel okay to me anymore, because this is my body and this is how I feel. And my body is deserving of respect. And it can be done friend to friend. There's been situations, where friends have, had to speak their truth and say, I don't like you roughing me around. It doesn't feel good anymore. Punching and banging on me is not feeling good anymore. So don't. But those are experiences that we're moving away from what used to be okay in an old paradigm, that, oh, everybody does it, it's just okay. Well, no, it's not. I honor my body now. I honor the vessel that I am, and I'm clearing some of this lineage that feels that abuse and aggression is okay, because it's not. For me, it's not okay. And as you awaken to the sacredness of who you are, source, you begin to own that truth of yours, and you get to be that emulation of divine essence. No, I am sacred. I am a being of sacredness, and I choose to walk in this way. And this is how I hold myself. I hold myself in the Most High as I hold you. And that abuse won't occur, because I hold you in that high of experience. And so this is where we're raising those levels of generations up and up and up. But we need to begin to talk about it. Allowing the children to come forward with greater play time, with greater communication time with their feelings and their emotions, and to allow them to freely express it within their creative expression, because that creative expression allows those energies to be released. And so does play and laughter and joy and all that thing. So being outside and athletic, especially with the extra restrictions that are, that they're moving through with this, with the, with the social distancing, that they require that freedom and that liberation. And so there's that compacted energy that we have to balance out as the leaders and as the careholders of the children. And so that's what we want to talk about as the divine feminine, is that bringing my own experiences and other lineage experiences, other lifetime experiences to the forefront to say, as the sacred being that I am, as this beautiful sacred eminence of life-giving energy that I am, as we all are, it's not a statement of, one being better than another, or more wise than another, more awake than another. No, it's about, this is my soul's path to carry on this awareness so that I may open and honor it and allow it to be a reflection for those that are also ready to heal their divine feminine and to understand what that is all about in the balance and the wellness of all life. It's required. It's a part of awakening. We can't escape it. You can't just awaken and continue to be in the male dominant ego. You will never move through that gateway. There has to be that balancing. Otherwise you become very imbalanced mentally, emotionally, physically, and energetically. So, and vice versa too, it works. It's always a balance, always a balance. And that's one of the words I say to my kids in the house. What's the one word that I say more than any other word, besides love? It's balance. So how can you maintain authority over your body and your mind and your spirit and maintain balance? Do you need more exercise? Do you need more water? Do you need more healthy food? Do you need more loving communication? What is it that you need? And be okay speaking it forward. This is what I need. I need to ask for this because I'm honoring who I am, and I stand tall in who I am, and I'm valued, and I'm important, and I'm sacred. And so those are conversations that are constant to new teachings, because it's a new vibration. And because what we see in the world and, the habitual patterns and the routines are requiring that sacred integration. So that's just an experience that I was having on healing that divine feminine, on how I had seen myself in lack and myself in not being enough, because I had experienced those early childhood projections of not enough and not being, those experiences that we all move through various stages of abuse in various ways, and it only being the projection of others' lack of self and those others' lack of sense of who they are and the lack of love that they've had and experienced and the abuses that they've experienced. So those were, and being empathic and crystalline, you just take them on as your own. But there will be those points in your healing of the divine feminine and the divine male where you get to release them. You get to say, that's not mine. I don't choose to carry that anymore. Just like the food in your fridge, you get to choose what food goes in your fridge. There's stuff in there that you don't want, that other people have put there. You get to let it go. Because it doesn't serve you. That's not your food. That's not your story. It's not your imprint. That's not your projection. And so it's really important that daily self-care and doing that healing movement and doing that reaffirmation and that reawakening of who you are and your truth, of your soul's essence, to remind yourself on a daily, constant basis, because the vibration of how we hold ourselves is so, so important right now, to go through new gateways and to be there for others as they're going through their gateway. And to absolutely be okay and make it your devotion to loving yourself, because that's how your soul and your ego knows that you got your back. The ego relaxes itself when it knows that you're acting on its highest and best. When your soul says, I've got you, I've got your back. Trust me, just relax and let go. And that's what it's a micro macro. Source is just saying, relax, we've got you, let go, surrender. We are like the ego in source. Until that ego is just relaxed enough to say, okay, I can manifest. We are the ego of source. It's micro macro. We are the manifestors of source creator, but we are all spirit. We're just giving you two as an example, because we have been acting as the overworked ego, and now we're a whole being. We're coming into our wholeness as spirit, which means that we get to surrender all that we are to spirit and have the ego assist us in manifesting. And that's it. Let the spirit be the guide. Let the spirit be the navigator and the map maker through this heart portal, through all that we are as mechanisms of soul. But that's how we also heal all of these programs. They're programs of belief, so that your children's children can be born with the fact that, no, I am a powerful being of light. And every moment that I state that, my children's 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 children will have this in the energy field. These are imprints and these are energies in the field that I now choose to co-create with. And I will mantra them, and I will be this vibration, and I will emulate this, and we will talk about this, and we will allow ourselves to come forward in very sacred ways, and we will dance, and we will sing sacredly, because it's that important. You know, it's that important that we allow ourselves to know that, you know, kids beating each other up, and the violence and the aggression that we see, and the aggression that we've placed upon them in the various abuses that have occurred over lineage and over timelines. It's time to change. It's time to say enough is enough. Abuse in any way, in however it's been occurring, mentally, physically, emotionally, it's time to change. It's time to bring compassion and forgiveness and complete love to the forefront, and allow these to be healed by owning them, by acknowledging them, by saying it's okay, we can breathe through this, we will allow ourselves this pure healing. And so that's what happened to me today, going through that video. So we're going to intro the video now. The video that I did was an inspiration that I've been having for many, many months, if not years. I've talked about this in so many videos, about sound and movement and sacred sound and light language, as well as sacred movement and feeling the land. And I've done much sacred land travel, working with the grids and working with the portals. And in my sleep and meditation time, I work with the grids and the portals with many high councils and so on. And I'm an absolute communicator with Gaia, calling in the Elohim and the Christ collective, as well as the fairies and the pixies, and just communicating with Gaia and moving with Gaia in that way, and the Divine Mother, and all of the, so many consciousness, all one. And I know that on the Pleiades, I also do healing with the children and helping them prepare their multidimensional bodies for intergalactic and interstellar travel. And their bodies must be in balance to do that. Because if the bodies are not in balance for higher dimensional communication, co-creation, on and off world connections, and intergalactic travels, their bodies will not be in their own divine authority, if you will. And we all slip into behaving from ego, which is only self-serving. And so this is why it's really, really important, as we become more of a collective omnipresence experience, that we understand who we are as multidimensional beings. We actually live from this heart-centered space, because it's serving the all. It's a greater experience of the all. And there will be no control over others. There will be no manipulations of others. There will be limited experiences of those lifetimes that we're here healing right now. You know, I mean, that's the abuse. It was the, you know, control over others in whatever way, form it takes, mental, emotional, physical. I mean, again, it's infinite, because there's so many of us that experience it on so many different, you know, threads. But it's okay. Have those triggers soften within you and say, what is coming forward within me that is ready to be released? Because it will only come forward if it's ready to be released. And the more that we suppress it and push it down, the more that it will, the more experiences that you'll see in your reality that say you're going to deal with it, you're going to deal with it, and they'll keep you manifesting until you actually face it and breathe through it. Because it only lasts for a couple minutes. That pain will only last for a couple minutes. And release when you're breathing through, and you're centering into your heart, and you say, call forward what needs to be faced, what needs to be acknowledged and accepted and allowed to live through me, so that it may be released and transmuted. So when you intend that, you're releasing the story that's connected with it. And that emotion of that trauma will come forward to be healed and breathed through, and it will be transmuted. That's the process of that, breathing through it, breathing through it, breathing through it. That trauma is held within your psyche for you to call it forward and say, I am empowered enough. I am source. I am that I am, and I can transmute this. Everything I touch turns to gold, and I get to choose to transmute my traumas and my pains. And it only lasts a couple minutes. You know, it's not a fun couple of minutes, but you're releasing that density that has been sitting in your field and in your chakras and in your bones and in your cells as deep trauma, cellular pain, for us to recognize and acknowledge. Because as we do, we're saying, this is not okay with me anymore. It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done. Because that pain, as it sits within us, it off-centers us. You know, we act in a way because it's not who our true self is as source creator. So it does affect us in how we behave and move about the planet. That's why it's so important that the children and on and off world collectives are going through their multidimensional healing, so that they're understanding about the flow of who they are as source, living through them without any hindrances. if there's anything that's blocking you from being your full self as source, you're going to be projecting that to others, and it will affect their vibration. And that's how important the all is. Some vibrations, like the Arcturians, showed me many years ago that if there is any being in their planetary experience that is experiencing pains or traumas or troubles, the highest of the elders are sent to that being, and they're staying with that being until that being is brought back into the highest resonance. That's how important that frequency is to the whole. And so it's really important for us to also allow ourselves to understand our omnipresence within our own healing, and how important it is to the generations that follow us, and how can we bring those forward as conversations for healing, as conversations of tapping into who we are as intuitive, loving beings, to really call forward and lovingly heal and move through the pain, and move through the control and the subjugation and the abuse, and call it and release it to be transmuted, so that you take sovereignty back. Once that release is done, you take that sovereignty back. You reclaim your power in that higher light vibration. As you released and let go, you fill up that new vibration with something powerful and higher vibratory. And that's the releasing process. Not staying stuck in the old stories, because you're then going to similar track in those stories. So there must be that higher garnering to call in. Yes, I am powered. And so the video that we did this morning is a gentle, soft movement. So make sure that you have water, comfortable clothes. The movements are never thrashing. They're never quick and whipping. It's a very sacred movement flow, with the flow of Gaia, with the flow of source, and the flow of who you are as an intimate being of light and love, song. And so these are healing offerings, and also playful offerings. We want to make that really clear, that these are offered in the expression and the intention to play with who you are as an unconditional vessel of love and light, the flowing song of source. And you can use them to reprogram the cells, to reprogram the innate, multidimensional, organic bodies, as well as the light fields, through the sacred sounds and the mantras. Today we use the mantra for Metatron, the metatronic codes that we come with as the highest Christic beings, and the sacred geometry that's held within our cells and our DNA. Through the water body that is the Holy Christ. The Holy Christ meaning the highest frequency of who we are as multidimensional beings. It's taken completely outside of the dogma understanding of what the Christ means. And the many masters that have come here with that Christ consciousness, the Christ consciousness that's held within the water body, the Christ consciousness that is held within the chakras, the DNA, and our water body that we have within us, which is 90% of who we are. And that's how we are always evolving as multidimensional beings. We have access to absolute control of every aspect of our physiological experience and multidimensional experience. And why it's so important that we move into higher vibrational ways of experiencing ourselves and exploring ourselves and expressing ourselves. So today's was my very first expression and experience of the Omni-Love offerings. I'm going to call them Omni-Love because it's allowing us at the physical human level to know that we are spirit having a human experience. We are omnipresent love, and there's a multitude of harmonic love songs that are being offered through us. And as we ignite and activate our knowingness that we are the song of source, those are then opened up into the fields of the all magnetic fields, and we affect everything. We affect the Gaia, we affect our collective, we affect all timelines in our blessed love of who we are in expression of that. So that's our first offering today of sound and movement in a higher vibrational way that brings sacred play, sacred joy, sacred healing, and sacred co-creation and connection with all that is source. So it's really, really exciting. So that was my very first co-creative offering to you, working with the innate fields and working with the Gaia fields and working with our Merkavik energy ley lines and the fields and mantras. And so it's a multi-dimensional purpose. Gentle, soft, loving, playful movement, mantras, and light language. So we hope that you enjoy it. So look for that video after this one. So we're going to pull some goddess cards now. Thank you. And this is one of my very favorite decks, the Alana Fairchild Divine Mother deck. Oh, I got this one twice yesterday. Gonna pull through. Oh my gosh, I get this one all the time. Our Lady of Manifest Miracles. Oh my gosh, I just love these cards. And Our Lady of Promise. And Our Lady of Truth. This is one of my favorite artists. I love her. She's in California. She did the art for these decks. So there's a story that's just coming out right now, if I can say it fast enough. When we're allowing ourselves to fall in love with who we are as the truth of source creator, as the truth of love, as the truth of the holy female and the holy male, as the crucible of balance and harmony of all that we are, this the crucible in the center of who we are, allowing ourselves to stay centered and staying within that strength of centeredness, then we are allowing ourselves the promise of our destiny to flow through us. And our truth is always available. Our promise is always available to us when we're allowing it, and we're surrendering completely the ego and its overworked ability to kind of control things and manipulate things for the safety factor that many abuses and many traumas have held us in, the deep cycles of ego management and ego control and ego fear and all of those things that our planet is all recognizing right now, which is not serving us, and why we're going through a mass collective global awakening. But our truth is held, as we've often talked about, is each of our truths are unique and right for each of us. We each come with a truth that is threaded and veiled within the soul contracts, the soul agreements, and the soul themes and the blueprints that we've come to heal and transcend, not only for our specific soul's journey, but for all of our lineage. And why, when we're moving in our unique truth, the highest truth for us as a soul individually, we allow ourselves to create our own lane, our own game, based on our creative expressions, experiences, and explorations that really allow our heart to sing and our soul to sing through our heart. And that's that creative reawakening from all of the subjugation and suppression that we've gone through as human beings, healing both the divine male and female in doing so, releasing all of these energies for the grids and the collective so that the children can walk in their unique truth, which will be far beyond what our truth was, because they've come with higher vibrational experiences and truths to help co-create with us and expand farther and farther. And that truth is so important, because if we're living someone else's truth, if we're holding our back or being subjugated to someone else's rules or agreements, or, you know, the collective conformity, socioeconomic conformity, whatever it is that somebody else's truths, we're co-creating within them to change them and inspire them into greater systems of light. And my teams had given me a couple months ago that your light is required in all systems. So light is required to be infiltrated so that the actual truth of who we are as Christed sovereign beings, that there's far infinite experiences that we can explore. And that is the highest truth of who we are. We are free, limitless, eternal beings of oneness. So how may we treat and honor one another in oneness? You know, not demean them and degrade them, or pull them into programs of less than in any way, because of their age or because of their you know, seemingly capabilities, you know, and how we've defined things in certain ways because of seeming capabilities. It's been so archaic on how we have defined and organized our structure of social experience. And how can we change that? Because it's our promise to ourselves as a collective soul of who we are as a family of one, the highest states of all that we are as a beautiful collective. We're coming together and saying, we're here to change. We're here to create massive freedom and liberation for all beings, because we're all one. We're all source. We're all needing that respect. We're all needing that acceptance. We're all needing those forgiveness, healing moments. You know, we're all are healed through the forgiveness. They're all are healed through the capacity to say, I forgive every trauma and every abuse, and I forgive myself, and I forgive all beings in all ways that it's ever been projected and felt in any way on all realms. This is the lifetime where all must be forgiven, that we bring love into the highest practice of all moments. And that's when the miracles are manifest, because there is no other healer than love. And forgiveness is the act of love. Loving yourself and others so much so that you forgive yourself for carrying so much damaged energies of others, by others, for others, and forgiving it all and clearing it all for them, because they're your family, they're you. Even if they don't know it, and even if they will never know it, but in that highest soul aspect, they absolutely will honor you and celebrate you and care for you, and those children will be honored for you as well. And you are the sacred hero. And oftentimes we'll never have songs sung, and that's okay, because that's the ego. You know, the ego wants that parade. The soul understands that in every moment that we're forgiving, in every moment that we're doing our inner work quietly and softly, and we're doing it with great reverence and with great honor, because we understand that it affects everything. You don't need the big parade. You know, it's nice, but it's not necessary to do what's needed for that soul and for all souls. And that's the living of spirit. That's the truth and the purity and the integrity and the dignity of spirit. You know, that's the nobility of spirit. And it doesn't need to be presented in any other way than those soft moments of forgiveness that we each have with one another, for thyself, and knowing thyself at the deepest level so that you can reach higher. Because knowing thyself deeper is reaching higher for thyself. You're always calling in a higher aspect of you as you're releasing those limitations. Limitations in every way, that you do not require anyone to be dependent upon you and you dependent upon them. Empower sovereignty by living it. Empower the empowerment by living it. I'm empowered, you know, and how many women have moved through their life with the understanding and the belief systems. It's so steeped in our experience, especially for women. Because I'm saying this because this is the only way we say it, and it doesn't sound right in saying it, but how many women have had those energies and felt those energies of, I'm relying on others because I've been the caretaker of the children, and yet I'm making minimal, and I don't have that freedom and liberation that I can because it's been so socioeconomic linked to the monetary systems, and we don't necessarily have the same freedoms, if you will, creatively, expressively, financially, abundant, whatever it might be, because we've maintained ourselves within the ideas of, you know, being the stay-at-home mom and working from home and doing all of those things. There's many opportunities, and there's infinite opportunities for abundance in that way. But we as women have carried those deeply entrenched programs to clear about that codependency. And that's what's clearing at every lineage, every facet, that we are now empowering our children. You don't have to rely on anybody. How can you allow yourself the capacity to know that money is the flow of an exchange of energy? You're carrying great energy. You're going to get exactly what you need and how you need it. It'll come to you. And that's the idea and the archetype of the energy and the goddess and the divine mother. When you're holding your power and you're offering your true creativity, you know, as an example of our video today, it was a soul's creativity and a soul's offering of mine that's very authentic and very real and vibratory true to me. It's my vibratory truth to be the singer of who I am. You know, I've come from a long lineage of the bird collective and the Pleiades, and birds have always been a magnetic frequency for me, and the insects and the bugs that I can feel and hear, and they walk with me everywhere in my field. You know, it's a vibration that I carry, and it's a passion of mine. It's one of my soul's destinies to offer to the planet, sacred sound. When we're doing it, just in being in joy of who we are and just offering ourselves sacredly and authentically with no expectation and no outcome, we're just doing it because we want to offer it. We're doing it because it's a part of who we are and we're happy being us. That's when that monetary energies find you, because it's the flow of energy. When you're giving yourself a rich and deep sacred emotion for being you, it's going to come back to you. The donation and offering, that's the universe. The universe is saying, hey, she's authentically working who she is. The universe is working on your behalf. You know, there's no, I need this, oh my gosh, I need this. You know, that's will always keep you in that state of need, as opposed to just dropping and surrendering into who you are as a divine adventure of source, an open vessel of adventure. You know, and you're allowing all of your gifts to flow through you as the goddess that you are. Move in new ways, speak in new ways, sing in new ways. Allow yourself to be carried on this wave of 5D. It's an allowance. It's very simple. You know, simplify in whatever way you can and ride the wave. And remember that everything that you're allowing in and out of your space is a vibration. So be aware of how you can simplify. You know, what is in my resonance now? You know what can be let go of? Just let go more and more. Let go. You know. In my last place, I had so many, you know, beautiful, and they were all beautiful because I love decorating. I love interior design, and you know, the little knickknacks and the little beautiful things that I find, and you know, more and more, I'm just getting down to minimalistic, simplistic living, and still enjoying a beautiful, lovely home, because the home is a representation of your space within and without. And it's very healing and sacred in here. It's very simple and very clear, and space is great space, you know. It's how I sing and dance, and I'm constantly twirling and dancing, and I just love this space. Simple, you know, and really pulling back on what I thought I needed and what I thought, it's just a complete shift, you know, a complete shift. And I don't need those vibrational, it's been a healing process, you know. this is who I truly am. This is what my body and my soul and my spirit are asking me to need. And it becomes more soulfully purposeful. You know, what is it that we really need? Well, we need those that really truly love us at a soul level, that allow us to be all that we are creatively and spiritually, that allow us to truly explore who we are spiritually and creatively, so that we can emulate that to our children, to say that there's no more dysfunctional relationships that I'm going to emulate with you. I want to emulate the highest and the best version of me from me. And as I do so, you're going to allow to see that beautiful perspective of what an unconditional loving relationship, and one that's based in great love and great depth of care and honor and respect, can be emulated like. So that we're not growing up seeing the same things that our parents did and then getting into those types of relationships that we're offering our kids, that was a dysfunction that I had. You don't have to do that. I'm healing my dysfunction now. I'm healing the codependency, the abuses, whatever it is. I'm doing as much healing and clearing as I can, so that in the best way that I can, I honor your soul and your path, and I honor all generations hereafter. You know, and that's the best that we can do as our spirit, is just live life as joyfully and freely and beautifully as we can through the healing process, and know that we're helping all generations, all timelines. And that's what those healing things were, that video was allowing me to offer to you, is how to work with the fields and know that we're just offering this beautiful intention of love, the intention of love. And you just feel the flow of becoming your Empress Goddess self, and you're just this receiver and this beautiful giver of life. And it's just like, you just receive. It's simple, and it's just receiving, and that blessedness. And you receive that healing trigger, and that healing trigger will say you've done your clearing. That density got pulled from your cells by that movement that you did. We're releasing it from your body, and you say thank you in deep gratitude. You know, I release those energies of gratitude in the stories, and I'm thanking all of the beautiful divine the lineage that I honor. I honor my lineage so much, you know, in those experiences. I just feel this beautiful wave of beautiful energies, sending love to all of my ancestors, sending love to all my ancestors, sending love to all my ancestors, and all of the lineage that Gaia has represented for us. And we're clearing those energies from the grids, that women do not have to be suppressed and depressed for those programs that we've carried. That's just one example. There's many other programs, as well as the men carrying their programs. Whether you're male or female, it doesn't matter. You're just that program in the male that we're rebalancing, like the overworked divine masculine. So thank you. So thank you, dear lighted ones. And we're going to pull one goddess card, and we'll call it. Thank you so much. Thank you. So happy. Thank you. Thank you. Just receiving a message from my ancestors now. Thank you. So beautiful. Oh my gosh. When they were talking to me, it was like Earth was coming up through my body and talking to me and sending me this collective communal message, this communal dance. And it was like Earth was just coming up with this beautiful vibration. They were just saying, Joanna, we love you. We're so proud of you. And then this Earth Gaia card came up. You know how beautiful is that goddess? You know, we are all Earth. We are all the aspects of Earth. The beautiful, the micro macro experience that we are representations of the matter, vibrational joy and appreciation that Source has, that Source is presenting us in physical form. We forget that we are Source, that we are the fluid movement of Source. We forget that we're so magical, we're so vast, we're the all. And that the love that we have for ourselves is so grand and so unconditional that we manifest ourselves in the physicality. It's out of pure love. It's out of pure love. Pure love. Just as we as mothers manifest our children out of pure love. We manifest them so that we can commune and co-create in that beauty. As Gaia has been co-created from Source Creator for us. A beautiful, joyful playground. So how can we appreciate and feel blessed for our lives, regardless of how, traumatic they have come, for us to heal our vastness? Because Dear souls, I say this with great pride and great honor. If you have had the journey where you've had traumas that you felt are insurmountable, it's because you have the soul that is so vast and wide to clear it and to heal it and to be that angel that drops from the skies to help others. I know that for a fact. Just don't ever give up on your own light. And as you clear it, you're going to shine and you're going to be the beautiful, translucent, beautiful love that you are. I just feel like the earth is coming up to meet me as I keep fidgeting. I'm becoming ever more alive with the energies of the earth and just coming up to meet me in a sacred dance. I'm so grateful. I'm so sacredly connecting with them. Thank you. Spirit is everywhere. Spirit is all things everywhere. It's a beautiful cosmic soup that we all exist within. Wow. Huge heart chakra. Thank you, dear lighted ones. And we say namaste and we love you so much. So enjoy our beautiful Omni-Love flowing videos and offerings for higher vibrational healing, movement, sacred play, activations, and communing with all that is source. And we thank you, the blessed bees, to all of the beautiful divine sacredness of all the energies and the councils and the beings that are with us that are helping us move through these very beautiful transformational times. And we thank you so much. Namaste. Bye.